The Holy Gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ according to Luke. Jesus said, "I came to bring fire to the earth, and how I wish it were already kindled. I have a baptism with which to be baptized, and what stress I am under until it is completed. Do you think that I have come to bring peace to the earth? No, I tell you, but rather division. From now on, 5 in one household will be divided, 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. They will be divided. Father against son, and son against father, mother against daughter, and daughter against mother, mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and daughter-in-law against mother-in-law." He also said to the crowds, "When you see a cloud rising in the west, you immediately say, 'It is going to rain,' and so it happens. And when you see the south wind blowing, you say, 'There will be scorching heat,' and it happens. You hypocrites, you know how to interpret the appearance of earth and sky, but why do you not know how to interpret the present time?" The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Christ.
Go quickly.
Good morning. I'm Kate Fimbris, and I'm the Minister of Youth here at St. Barnabas. And 2 weeks ago, the young people that you're about to hear speak went on a mission trip to LA to serve the homeless. And I want to read a passage from Deuteronomy 15:11. "For there will never cease to be poor in the land. Therefore I command you, you shall open wide your hand to your brothers and sisters, to the needy and to the poor in all the land." So this morning, you're going to hear stories and experiences and testimonies from 9 young people who spent a week opening up their hands, their hearts, their spirits, and their lives.
Good morning, my name is Kovich, and this was my second year going on the mission trip. One night when we were serving at the Midnight Mission, there was another group volunteering, so Margaret and I had the opportunity to step in front of the serving counter and into the dining hall. While dinner was being offered, we helped make trays of food for the disabled people, cleared any empty trays left behind, and cleaned tables so more people could sit down and eat. As we were serving in the dining hall, we had the chance to converse with some of the people who were eating. One person who stuck out in particular was a homeless man named David. Every day, David hobbled in on his crutches and managed to carry his tray of food back to a table, refusing any help people offered him. He explained that he was involved in a train accident when he was 14, and the lower half of his leg was amputated. When the train hit him, he saw a bright light and felt as if his soul had left his body and went to heaven. Ever since, he has always tried to persevere, and his determination to do so constantly keeps him positive, no matter what challenges he faces. David's personality shined as bright as the light he described, and the conversation he had with me is something I will always hold close to my heart. Thank you.
Howdy, I'm John. It's nice to meet you. And this was my second year going to, well, the mission trip. And while I was there, I worked on the residence side of the Midnight Mission. And that side is where people who actually live in the building, homeless people who live in the building, well, live. And it's also the line where people who work there get to go get dinner too. I worked at the residence line every single night when I was at that midnight mission. And people over there, they're just very nice. Very nice. I don't know if it's just you can give them a little extra food if they ask you for it, or if they have a roof over their head, but they were all very nice to us. There was one guy who told us a funny joke. There was another who liked comics, and just some people where you could tell they had some troubles in the past, but they always seemed to enjoy a nice, good meal. I enjoyed that. And in the end, I liked working over there. It was relaxing, the people were nice, and yeah, it just had a good atmosphere about it, so thank you for listening.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Otto Schmidt, and this is my first year going on the trip. Before going on this trip, I was kind of nervous because I only knew 3 people, but now I have made a whole new group of friends. On the mission trip, we helped out a lot of people from Alexandra's house to Midnight Mission. I thought that behind the kitchen, the people were so nice and kind. They would give you smiles and talk to you and give you advice on things. For example, Frank would say, don't give them more than 1 scoop of food. Frank would make things that were overwhelming not so overwhelming. When I was giving out the water and forks to the homeless, I thought they would throw the water and forks at me, but Frank came over and said, no, they won't do that because they will get in trouble. But it turned out that job was one of the best jobs because you could have a conversation with them and they wouldn't give you dirty looks. No, they would give you dirty looks. They would also tease you a little. I also served in the line and gave them food, and some people would give you dirty looks and just ask you, can I have some more? I don't like how I had to say no because they have to live on the streets and barely get anything to eat or nothing to eat. So I felt bad that I had to say no. Most of the people that worked there were addicted to something and are recovering addicts. They also love what they do and the people who volunteer with them. James is one of those people who can pick you up when you are down, and he also teases you if you do something wrong. He is an outgoing and loving person. I am so thankful for the people on the mission trip I got close to, and I also met a lot of new people who became my friends and would do this mission trip again. Thank you for listening to my story.
Morning, everyone. Hi, my name is Joseph. I did the serving line at Midnight Mission. I came on the trip to Los Angeles thinking that would be a life-changing experience. I'll tell you that it was for me. I got to meet new people on the trip, especially my teammates. When I went to Midnight Mission, I was nervous because it was my first time ever doing it, and I heard we serve 400 people or more. I got to do a lot of work at Midnight Mission, like opening big boxes of cookies and serving salmon patties, which I have to tell you was one of my favorites. And my most experience was the serving line. My first night I did it, one of the jobs I did was serving rice. I was next to one of my first friends on the trip, Jesse. He gave me a lot of advice and told me not to worry about anything. The first person I got asked me for 2 servings, and I said no, and he argued with me. Then I got a woman who threw her plate back at me because I didn't put it in her spot. Then I realized why they're so picky and mad because their voice is the only thing they have left. But every day I gave a person a smile and said, "Have a nice day," and most people said thank you and smiled back. The serving line is a tough job, but sometimes you have to be the light of their day.
Hi, my name is Margaret Schmidt, and this is my 4th year going on the mission trip. And at the Alexandria House, free childcare is offered to all residents and past residents. The children had a family picnic on the 4th day, but I think personal experiences are the most important part of this trip. So while doing crafts, I got the chance to meet a very shy boy, and he had autism, and his name was Daniel. So by the end of crafts, Daniel and I had our own inside joke, and he couldn't stop laughing. His mom told me she'd never seen him so happy and social before. The mission trip allows me to have moments like that I'll never forget.
Hi, my name is Hunter Haas. This was my first mission trip. I enjoyed the experience. One of the tasks that I did was helping with the child care at Alexandria House. The children I worked with lived at Alexandria House or the surrounding neighborhoods. The children in the child care program ranged age infant to 5 years old. I played games with them as well as helped them with a science experiment. I liked taking care of children. It was a good experience and gave me a new appreciation for the life I have. I am grateful I got to participate. Thank you for letting me speak.
Good morning. My name is Kristin Weldy. During this past week, I went on, for the very first time, the legendary and life-changing mission trip to Los Angeles that everyone has been talking about. While on this trip, we went to a couple of places to help out. One of the places, which happens to be my favorite, receives about 600 calls for help per month. That's around 7,200 calls for help each year. This little but magical place is called the Alexandria's House. At this home, they take in single women and their children, typically after being in an abusive situation, and offer them a free, permanent place to stay until they get back up on their feet. While at the Alexandria's House, I got to spend a lot of time with the kids in their free kids camp. Throughout the week, helping out, one day, the kids decided to go to the park, and a few of us had the opportunity to go with them, me being one of them. On the 6-block walk to the park, I met an energetic and creative girl named Mariana, who apparently is now my best friend. Believe me when I say she asked just about every question you can think of. Now, I don't know her story, how she got there, or anything about her past, but it was truly something to see how happy she was and her imagination that had literally no limits. I didn't just see this in 7-year-old Mariana. I saw this in each kid at the park's eyes. I know this because after lunch, we all began to play. We started on the exercise equipment. The kids didn't use them for their intended purpose, of course, but the point is they were having fun. Soon after our time on the exercise equipment, most of us went to the basketball courts and began a match to 10. The kids were so excited when we started the game. Once we were further into the scrimmage, I really began to notice the game plans for each shot and how much teamwork and encouraging things were said from both sides. If somebody missed their shot, the kids and volunteers would all say something like, "Nice try," or "You'll get it next time." I can't even remember how many high fives were given. During the short game, I saw smiles so big across all of their faces. It looked as if it was them against the world, and nothing could defeat them. Everyone was happy and in a good mood, even though we were outside in the sun with a lot of heat and humidity for several hours. When it was time to go, we had just finished our game of basketball. My team won, but for the kids, it wasn't about winning. It was about having a great time with their new and old friends. The point is, Shadow Park is a place to forget the past and just live in the present. just like the kids managed to do. I am so grateful I had the opportunity to go on this trip. Thank you for listening.
Good morning, my name is Meg Marinello, and this was my second year going on the mission trip. This year, we all helped work on repainting one of the back doors at Alexandria House. We sanded it down and repainted it. About halfway through working on the door, I got switched over to the task of sketching out new designs for the children's benches. With the help of some of the others, we finished the pictures and then helped paint the benches. As we painted, people would walk by and comment on them, saying things like, "Oh my gosh, the kids are going to have a fit," or "the kids are gonna love that." It was awesome to see the benches when we were done, and it was awesome having everybody help out. I'm excited to be able to go back next year to help more at Alexandria House and see how the children like the benches. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Stephanie Stewart. Transformation. Last Sunday, Erica spoke at the 6 o'clock service about transformation, whether it's a gigantic Mount Everest-sized transformation or one that occurs in our everyday lives. We just have to keep our hearts and eyes open to seeing it. As I thought more about it, I realized a lot of transformation happened on the mission trip, and I'd like to talk about that today. Our youth group had the opportunity to serve at Alexandria House, which helps single mothers escaping domestic violence. I saw a tremendous transformation in Barbie, who I had met several years ago when she was a resident with her son at Alexandria House. She had escaped an emotionally and physically abusive past, and after a series of hardships, finally found her way to Alexandria House. That was transformation. Alexandria House gave them clothing, fed them, sheltered them, and provided a safe environment for her son while she searched for a job. Because of this transformation, the two are now living on their own and are doing really well. While we were at Alexandria House, Barbie came back and told her story to our youth group. This meant a lot, knowing that it took a lot of courage to be so open about her past. Something I learned from her talk was that local shelters separated mothers from their sons, and that's where she had been before she came to Alexandria House. She told us that if she had been separated from her son, she wouldn't have wanted to live. Alexandria's policy is to accept single mothers with sons first. For me, that was a big Jesus moment. Getting to Alexandria House, you could say, was a gigantic Mount Everest transformation. I know Barbie's story is an example of a huge transformation, but we need to be open to seeing smaller ones as well, knowing that God is working in our lives. And I know I've talked about transformation a lot, but I can't end without giving it to Kate. Amazing, inspiring, and dedicated. And she transformed so many people's lives. Thank you.
Do I not have the best job ever? So I just want to go back to that Deuteronomy passage for a moment, because it applies to all of us and how we respond to the needs of others around us, in our families, in our communities, in our church, in the world. And, we only go to LA once a year because we're responding to needs in our community all the time here. We're looking, we're searching, we're open to where God's calling us, how we can serve God and serve others in ways that sometimes are uncomfortable. Like for this trip, the teenagers gave up beds. I slept on an air mattress, so I guess I kind of gave up a bed. Gave up electronics. Gave up things because those things become a distraction for us at times. And so we set those things aside so we could see how God wanted us to respond, so we could see how God wanted our lives to be transformed as well as those around us. So it's a give and take. It's not just us going out there and doing good things. It's allowing others to do good things in our lives as well. So every night we ended our time together with 5 questions and we sat in this beautiful cathedral in downtown LA, and we spent some time in silence responding to these. I want to leave you with two. The first one that we started with was, what was most life-giving to you? So as you end your day today, think about what was most life-giving to you. And the last question we ended it with was, what are you most thankful for right now? And I know right now I am thankful for an amazing community, for 9 incredible teenagers and 3 adults that I got to travel with side by side and serve and respond to an amazing God who loves us. Thank you.